interaction design, and motion studies. We're going to explore a few things throughout the process. Why does motion and interaction matter? Getting specific about how products work. We're going to start by understanding that motion and interaction are part of building great user experiences. We're going to talk about where we see motion in our user interfaces and why it creates value. We'll then review some of this. There are exploring ways to create interactions in your interfaces. And we'll get excited about continuing to learn some of the advances in building and making prototypes to build on the work that we've been doing up to this point. So let's get started. Up to this point, we've been designing a lot of prototypes. The prototype is a great way to extend your sketching skills and test the products that you've been doing. Our list app has been able to help us do some things like reorder or add images for context. We've iterated on them to make it more high fidelity. And all along the way, we've been learning as we design, right? The act of making is then helping us produce something. Now, the role of applying this design in our prototype is where iterating and testing starts to add a level of polish, and motion and interaction design will start to come involved there. Now, when building digital products, we really are thinking about a large portion of things, right? We started by understanding the larger user experience of what task the user needs to do. Why is that in their need space? How is the software or context of their phone going to help them accomplish that? We then built some user interface elements, stuff that we're designing, things that work. But the role of where motion gets involved in particular is helping enforce and help us explore what the interaction design is like. Now, the role of doing all of this together can be kind of challenging. So we start with some basics just to make sure that we're solving the problem the right way. Once we kind of know that we've done that, then we can add a level of interaction. Now, there are 5 aspects of interaction design, and they start getting a little bit more complicated. You can get even deeper into this stuff, but the basics of what our user is interacting with at any one point is the words, do they understand what they're saying? The object, can they recognize the shape? The output, is it phone? Is it a keyboard? Like, what is the interaction that they're doing with that? Do they recognize how to interact with it? The time it takes them to accomplish tasks. It is a long option. Is it short? Are they reading a long article? Are they doing a short thing? All that goes into what the requirements are. We then look at the behavior. How do our users react or respond to anything that we make them do? Right? If they're pushing a button and it buys something, that has a feedback loop, right? If they're doing a drop-down list or searching, all these are different interactions for engaging with the content that we're dealing with. Now, up to this point, we've been dealing with a list of grocery items, right? The behavior is helping the user order and reorder that content and then be able to. And we've then added things like visual representation, right? We've added images, we've added info buttons to help us know what those things are that we're putting into lists, et cetera, et cetera. As you continue to iterate on your prototypes, you should be evaluating against these aspects in your interaction design. Is the time that it takes to do that task reasonable for what I've been given them in words, for the object, the behavior they're doing as it goes? Now, the role of interaction design is really trying to define the ways the user can interact. Now, interactions can be complex, but we really want to make sure that we're thinking about how the systems are interconnected. If you have to train your user to swipe or to tap, to move their hands, there's a gesture potentially that needs to be trained into your interface. And this is where motion and what we're going to be talking about from an interaction design perspective can actually help. They're doing a lot of things that help them gesture or move around. They might want to do that. So let's go to prototyper.io/prototyping. So now that we come to prototyper.io, this is a way at which to explore a number of options that there are for building interactions into interfaces. Now, there's things that are built on frameworks like JavaScript. Framer is one of those. Principle is the one that's here. There's Flinto and Protoput. Again, lots and lots of outputs to do some of these things. Most of them are built towards more coded related components in helping build prototypes to be more accurate to the output. Now, the interactions at which we've designed are really important, right? You could have looked for prototyping. I've clicked interactions here. There's also some tools that we'll show you that are inside of Sketch. And there's a tool called Anima app, which I highly recommend you go checking out. There's a free trial, but wait until we get to that point in the lecture. In exploring the options that are here, you can compare, you can download some of these and explore them on your own. We will be exploring some things that are linked with Sketch, and tools like Principle actually can help with that. Now, again, lots of ways at which to experience the interactions that are here, and we'll be continuing to explore how this works. The reason that we spend a lot of time trying to explore the right tools for building interactions is that Prototyping helps us define how a product works. And we want to be as accurate and as specific as we can, because this is what is going to be produced in the world. It helps our users use it and engages. Because when we're solving problems for our user, there's really an opportunity which to infuse not only just how the thing acts and how the user is accomplishing its acts, but also how it actually engages the user, makes them feel interested by it, helps them learn it, etc., etc.